time for the best coverage of the top stories in sports. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page starts now.
On a Wednesday, and great to have you with us. Lots to do over the next 60 minutes. We will be joined by our friend David Aardsma, former big league reliever, get his thoughts on Game 4 of the World Series. Are the Yankees back? We'll talk about it. Kurt Helin, NBC Sports, their NBA insider, hangs out with us as well. Get some NBA thoughts with him. And it's Wednesday, which means no Sam Yarnell, and that means we got a special guest hanging out with us. Today it is Patrick McEnroe, who is hanging out with us on the program. Always good to talk with the former ATP tennis star. Look, he's got his bat, current
Louisville Slugger, baby. Let me answer your question, Jason. The Yankees are back, baby. They are back. Let's go.
International Tennis Hall of Fame president, also with ESPN on the tennis commentary. Can one game, I mean, look, it's a bullpen game for the Dodgers. I'm trying to make the argument that the Yankees could do something that's never been done before outside of the Red Sox and the ALCS against the Yankees. It's still a long way. I can't even let myself dream that big that the Yankees could somehow rally in this series just based off of one game. But there were some promising signs. Well,
it's not basketball. Okay, hockey's a little bit different. Hockey, I compare a little bit to baseball, where the goaltender gets hot, you can turn things on. You never see this in the NBA. If a team gets up 3-0, they're going to probably win 4-0 or 4-1. But we know how baseball is, Jason. And here are some of the signs that I saw from the Yankees that finally they started taking some pitches. I'm watching Game 3, yes, and late in the game, and I'm just like, why is it every single guy up at the plate is trying to hit a home run?
Ambush.
So finally, now maybe because it was a bullpen game, as you rightly pointed out from the Dodgers, that it just seemed like the Yankees' approach at the plate was different. Now, obviously, Judge got hit and took a walk. That I think helped set the tone. I actually got a hit late in the game when the game was over, but still, that's a very positive sign. Plus, you've got Cole going tonight, okay? And a lot of people were wondering why'd they take him out? Why'd Boone take him out in Game 1? Okay, here's your guy. Yankee Stadium, the crowd's going to be rocking. Can we please not let Freddie burn us in the first inning yet again? I mean, pitch around the guy.
Yes, stop pitching to him, Patrick. Stop pitching to Freddie. I don't know why he's not getting the Barry Bonds treatment right now. Why you're pitching to him? Unless the bases are loaded, which they were in Game 1. I don't know why you're pitching to him right now, because every time he comes up in the first inning, he is absolutely slaying it. So the Yankees have got to figure out something with that. But outside of that, I love the fact they have Garrett Cole going tonight. I think Aaron Boone's learned his lesson. I don't think he's going to pull him after 88 pitches this time, if it gets to that point, knowing that the Yankee season is basically on the line. I got a feeling this thing gets back to Los Angeles for Game 6. It was great to see Anthony Volpe have his moment last night, the Grand Slam. With everything he's kind of gone throughout the season, the ebbs and flows of the season, it was great to see him last night have that moment at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, a New Yorker, and that was, I must admit, Jason, that I was nervous, okay, up until the point when he hit that home run, because I'm thinking, man, if we let the Dodgers hang around, 1 or 2 runs, I was not feeling that great. Obviously, Weaver came in, did a great job. The good news also for the Yankees is that he didn't have to pitch
in the ninth,
another inning, and that was huge, because I think they're gonna need him tonight. Obviously, they'd love to have Cole go 7 or 8 and hand it off to him. But whether or not that happens is another story. I think they're going to get to Flaherty tonight, okay? I think they've seen him once. He pitched well in the opening game. But I think the Yankees found a little something, because they were, God bless me saying this, they were patient at the plate. And I'm watching those first few games, and I'm like, what is Paul O'Neill and Bernie Williams and and Derek Jeter thinking, watching these guys just go up there and just swing? I mean, I know that's their MO, but you got to understand, when you get to this type of environment in the World Series or in the playoffs, you got to change your approach, maybe not, but tinker with it, okay? You have to be able to do that. And we saw some signs that they started to do that last night. And as you said, the bottom of the lineup actually delivered. Now, could the top of the lineup deliver?
Can we talk about the Mookie Betts play in the first inning? So you got Mookie Betts, for people who didn't see it. You got Mookie Betts trying to catch a ball in foul territory down the right field line going into the Yankee stands. And then you get this knucklehead fan who literally tries pulling his glove off to take the baseball out. Now, it's the first inning. You can't be that hammered. So I can't blame it on the alcohol. I can't. I just can't. Because I'm at a loss for words. I put it on X last night. I'll say it again. That guy should be banned from the park. He should never be allowed back in again. Almost as bad as the fan next to him actually pulling on the hand of Mookie Betts, trying to pull his hand away. Like, what are these people thinking?
They're thinking we need to do something. We're desperate here. We're down 3-0. These, they're local heroes now. Are you kidding me, Jason? I hate to say it because everything you said was right. But these guys are going to be all over the local news here. They're going to be all over social media. They probably won't let them back in. Maybe they'll try to sit in the bleachers and do the roll call tonight with the rest of them. But it was desperate times, desperate measures, and the Yankees actually even ran the bases a little bit better.
Well,
in the game,
a little.
You're not totally buying a little. No. Okay, that's why I said
Volpe should have been out at second base when he tried stretching a single into a double. He knocked the ball out of the glove of the infielder, so he got a little bit lucky there. Volpe did single-handedly steal them a run a little later in the game though as well. He was able to use his legs. And hey, Patrick McEnroe, Aaron Judge. Any moment now.
I was texting you last night because it's like, first of all, I'm not going to go crazy about other announcers because, people can do that to me when they watch Wimbledon and so on.
Yes.
But how many times do I have to hear the announcers say, it's just a matter of time. Aaron Judge is going to come out. No, it's not.
Any moment.
It's not a matter of time.
Any moment.
This
is the swing.
Just say what it is. The guy is stinking up the joint. Okay, it's okay. I know he's a great player. I know I'm a huge Aaron Judge fan.
I get it.
But to keep saying that he's gonna come out of it. No, we don't know that. That's why we're watching.
No, we're all waiting.
We don't know if he's gonna come out of it.
It's lazy. They're running out of things to say. All right, stick around. We're gonna come back. I gotta get some NFL.
We're not running out of anything.
No,
to
we're
say.
not.
I can guarantee you that.
NFL trades and more next. Let's take it to segment 2 on this Wednesday edition of the show. There was plenty of NFL news that happened right after we finished putting the show to bed on Tuesday. It was one of those rare days where we were literally like swearing at our phones here in the studio. Like, come on, man. This stuff breaks like right after we send the show to our affiliates. That's what you get when you got a syndicated tape show every day. Patrick McEnroe is hanging out with us on the program today. Kurt Helin, Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. Still to come, David Aardsma coming up as well. Get some thoughts with him on Game 4 of the World Series and the Yankees' chances to get it back to Los Angeles for a Game 6. Some big news in the NFL, as I said. Joe Flacco will be the new starting quarterback once again, I guess you could say. Well, I don't want to say new. He's started a bunch of games for an injured Anthony Richardson. After Richardson was 10 of 33 passing on Sunday. And he's just been bad. There's just no getting around it. I remember when Tim Tebow was out there for the Broncos and he'd complete 50% of his passes and people lost their minds because he couldn't hit open receivers and, his ability, his accuracy with the football. Well, my God, Anthony Richardson's 100 times worse right now than Tim Tebow was. And everybody's going crazy about the idea that they're going to pull him from games. Part of the impetus for this, whether anybody's going to say it or not, on top of the fact that he was terrible on Sunday, was the move by Anthony Richardson to tap out. You saw him tap his helmet when there was a play where he was running around the pocket and he ran and slid to the ground, then he tapped his head. They took him out. Joe Flacco came in. Now they're tapping him out for good, as Joe Flacco will be the starting quarterback of that team. And there are a lot of people that are going to question whether this is the right move for a Colts team that is certainly in the mix as it relates to the AFC when you talk about the playoff picture and a wild card spot. But I'll play a little devil's advocate, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Patrick. We're in an era we're in the player safety era of sports, where everybody's talking about having to keep players safe, and this macho era of sports where guys don't want to come out of games, and guys are going to play hurt, and they don't care. And here's Anthony Richardson, who just ran out of gas, taps out, comes out of the game, and everybody's crushing him for it. And I think you could crush him for his play at quarterback. I don't think it's fair to crush him for tapping his helmet because he's legitimately just out of gas because he's running around because the offensive line can't protect him, and he's trying to make a play and saying, hey, I got to come out for a play or two.
Well, what you said initially, Jason, is the reason why he's going to be tapping out from the coaching perspective. If they're taking him out, is the 10 for 33. Okay, if this guy was lighting it up and playing well and had the locker room behind him, I don't think anybody would care if he said, I need a breather, I'm just going to come out. Now, that is unusual. Okay, I can't remember seeing a quarterback tap out. Now, it's one thing if you're injured. It's one thing if you get, knocked on the head. That's a different story. But if you're tired, that I've never seen. I mean, can't you just hand the ball off on the next play? So I need a blow here. You hand the ball off. But to me, this says something a lot different about what's going on behind the scenes, because you got Joe Flacco there, who's a proven veteran who did it last year. And as you said, Indy's in the mix. They've got a shot to make the playoffs. So my sense is that the locker room is saying, wait a second, we've got this guy sitting here in Flacco. We've got a decent team here. We've got a shot to make the playoffs. I don't think we should be putting our confidence in this young guy who's in his second year in the league, a la Bryce Young from last year, two guys drafted at the top of their classes, neither one of them delivering at this point. And so I think that from an Indy standpoint, from the coaching perspective, this was way more than just him tapping out on one play.
I'm sure it is. I just don't necessarily agree with the sentiment of some in the media that are saying he shouldn't have tapped out. Or some are even saying he should have lied in the post-game interview where he came out and said, I tapped out because I was winded. I ran around a lot. People are saying, well, he should have lied and said there was an injury. I just thought it was refreshing in this era of sports where everybody's like, oh, I got to play through it. That he sat out one snap. I just thought it was kind of interesting that the media cries foul on player safety.
Did he come back in after that play? He did. Okay.
Yeah, he did.
All right. So
I love the move to go to Flacco. I predicted it would happen last week on the show. I said they'd lose to the Texans and then they'd go to Flacco. I have been proven right yet again. Deontay Johnson is a new wide receiver for the Baltimore Ravens as we see this continued arms race in the NFL right now. Not literally arms, because in this case it's a wide receiver, but we're seeing receivers move all over the place around the league. Deontay Johnson goes from Carolina, who obviously has nothing to play for and needs some draft capital. Deontay Johnson winds up in Baltimore with the Ravens as they continue to improve that roster. But they better improve their defense. They're dead last in the league against the pass. And you can go and get all the offensive weapons you want. Maybe their plan is just outscore everybody, win 31-24 every week.
Well, you're 100% right. And I was shocked, obviously, this week by the Ravens' loss because I've been high on them. I know they lost their first two games, but I've pretty much been picking them every week since then because of that incredible offense. Not only with Lamar, but with the running game as well. It's just been phenomenal. But to your point, I mean, look, we know what this is about, right? This is about if the Ravens, first of all, it's now with that loss to Cleveland, a shocking loss, it's looking pretty unlikely they're going to be able to get the 1 seed, right, with the Kansas City undefeated. Yep. Now, Kansas City hasn't looked dominant, but they win every game. And this is going to come down to what happens in the playoffs. Can Lamar beat, Mahomes? Can, the Ravens beat the Chiefs? But this was a shocking loss for the Ravens. As you said, the offense is explosive. I mean, they can beat you in a whole bunch of ways. But it's surprising to see a Ravens defense this vulnerable. To lose to Cleveland. I mean, I know they're in their division. I know that Cleveland was playing at home, but I mean, that's one of the worst teams in the league. And don't forget, they lost to your Raiders in the opening week of the season. So
please don't make me hold on. I am not just because I live in Las Vegas, they are not my Raiders. I will not do that.
That was a low blow. Yeah, that was a low blow.
Very low blow. Real quick here, Stephon, I only got about 30 seconds. Stephon Diggs, done for the year, torn ACL, non-contact injury in that win against the Texans. So he's done, or against the Colts. So he's done for the season. And the Giants make it official. Daniel Jones will remain their starting quarterback this week. I have no idea why. I said it yesterday. Tank the rest of the season. Get yourself the best draft pick you can, especially when it's a draft that's going to have Shedeur Sanders in it and a lot of other good quarterbacks. We'll see how it continues to play out in New York with the 2-6 Giants. All right, we're coming back. David Aardsma, talk about Game 4 of the World Series and more next. Let's get back to baseball. If the Yankees had lost last night, we would have only done one segment of baseball. But they won. So we can talk about the Yankees some more. Patrick McEnroe is hanging out with us on the show today. And there's David Aardsma, former big league reliever, our closer, hanging out with us on the show. Got to have dinner with him and his lovely wife and friends last Thursday here in Vegas. Good times.
I'm sure you paid, right, Jason?
It was my God. That was some expensive Mexican food, man. You got some expensive taste, David.
Yes, Javier's is no joke.
No, that's no joke. But the margaritas was good, and the conversation was even better. So I appreciate you inviting my husband and I out there to hang out with you guys. All right. Look, everything sort of clicked last night. Everything that hasn't clicked in this series clicked last night for the Yankees. I don't even let myself dream that big. If they get a win tonight, maybe we can have a conversation about doing something special in Los Angeles. But what did you come away with them winning last night?
What I came away with is the other three games in the series, outside of maybe Freddie Freeman early on in Game 3, the Yankees have been in every game. They've been in every single game. It's a big situation here, a big situation there where the Dodgers were able to pull away. The difference in this one is Freddie Freeman still comes up in the first inning, does his thing, his 6 World Series in a row, 4. This is insane what he's doing. But then the other guys in the lineup, the 7, 8, 9 guys in the lineup step up to where Judge is kind of missing and Soto maybe having those big at-bats are missing, and they play their part. They just got the right pitch at the right time. And even when Volpe hits the grand slam, the Dodgers are still not out of this thing, right? The Dodgers are still like fighting back, coming back, but then you still saw the lineup finally turn over. And really where it was, and we've talked about this before, it's the Dodger bullpen finally had that crack on a bullpen day, though. On a bullpen day, they had a crack, and they still only used 4 pitchers. You know, the Yankees used like 2 more guys on a day where your starter's supposed to go 5, 6, whatever innings, and it looks like a blowout. But really, I think this is a win in a lot of ways for the Dodgers because they're coming back today healthy and fresh and ready to go, where the Yankees still had to use Weaver and still had to use everybody that they didn't want to.
David, let me ask you this, because Jason and I were discussing this earlier, and I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a New York guy. I know you played for both teams in New York. But to me, the difference that I saw, and I'm not, an expert like you are, obviously, but it finally seemed to me like the Yankees were actually looking to take some pitches and not, Game 3, like late in the game, I'm watching this. I'm like, why is every Yankee who goes up to bat trying to hit a home run? It just looked to me like every swing was a home run swing. Now, obviously, you got Judge, gets a walk early. Maybe that, little thing sets the tone a little bit. It just seemed like they were a little bit more patient at the plate. Am I right?
Well, I'm confused. I thought every Yankee fan was an expert.
Good point. Very good point.
Absolutely. They got more into classic standard Yankee baseball, taking pitches, trying to work counts, trying to work pitchers. I said it on the show or like last week, the Yankees have to do that, have to get these starting pitchers out of the game early by doing classic Yankee things, taking pitches, work long at bats, be okay with a good strikeout as long as they got 6-7 pitches out of that pitcher, and they made him work for it. And that's what I felt like it is. I felt too early on, especially not everyone was going up there swinging for the fences. When you got your pitch, go for it. But when it's 0-1, 0-2, don't try to swing for the fences. Just get on base. And you saw this lineup start to work, start to get through, where only 2 guys in the lineup didn't have a hit. And that's something we hadn't seen out of the Yankees in a long time.
Garrett Cole gets the start on the bump in the boogie down on Wednesday night as the Yankees try to get this thing to 3-2. Do you think that Aaron Boone will have a different approach, given it's going to be his last start of the series, I would think, that he'll have a different approach in terms of how long he lets him go in this game?
I think this is Cole's game. I think this is Cole's game to dominate, to show the America, show Booney what he can do. And again, he is proven to be able to go deep into these ball games. He went 6 innings the first game with only 1 run. And so to me, I think there's all the trust in the world that he can go out there and do that again. Plus, with the way they've been using that bullpen, especially with Weaver, who's one of the most important pieces of that bullpen, they need him to go that long in the game. They need him to pitch deep into the ball games. They just can't, on the opposite side, have Flaherty go 5 1/3 again and get that deep into the ball game. They need to hit Flaherty out by the 3rd inning, and they need Cole to go out there, give him at least 5, and then I think then the bullpens are even at that point. But the Yankee bullpen has been get beat up so much that they have to somehow outplay this and only have to pitch a couple guys.
I need him. By the way, I need him to go 7 tonight. No 5. I want 7 innings and 110. I want 7 innings and 110 pitches.
Yeah, welcome to new baseball. What should we be happy as an expert Yankee fan that I am? Thank you for pointing that out. That Judge finally got a hit. I know it didn't matter; the game was over, but he did have a couple of good at bats, and he did finally get a hit. So is this a sign that maybe he's coming out of it? Because, I mean, obviously, if he could do something early tonight, I mean, that would set the place on fire.
The one thing that they were talking about on the broadcast, which is completely true. Well, let's say this. That one hit, it's one hit. One hit at the end of the ball game, and he steals a base and all that stuff. Okay, that's one hit at the end of the ball game. Normally, you would always overlook it. But when guys are in slumps, we have to look at that and then go at bat earlier than that. And he had some very good at-bats. He had some good approaches. It looked like he wasn't getting beat the way he was before. That up and in and just classic down and away wasn't just dominating him. They were still getting him out. But there's a difference between dominating a batter and just getting him out. And so it looked like to me that it's getting to a point where he's getting better swings. Now, I would have liked this in maybe game 2, maybe game 3, and not necessarily game 4, but better late than never. And with this lineup, if they can win 4 games in a row, again, that's the way it's the hardest thing in the world against the best team in the world. If all you have to do is win 4, now all they have to do is win 3. And so it's a sweep. They have to look at this and think, can we sweep a team? We've done it before, but it has to be Judge has to be on it, and that starting pitcher has to be on it.
No offense. It was a hit off a bullpen guy. I mean, it was a bullpen game. It was a bullpen game.
Everybody's a bullpen guy now.
Yeah. David, always appreciate it. Real quick, Yankees win or lose tonight?
Yankees win.
All right.
Game
David
6,
Aardsma.
I told you game 6.
All right. David Aardsma, always appreciate it. We're coming back.
I knew I liked you, David. I knew I liked you.
We take it to segment 4 on this Wednesday edition of Sports Wrap. Let's talk some NBA. It's Wednesday. That's what Wednesdays are for. Bringing our friend Kurt Helin, pro basketball talk at NBCSports.com. Patrick McEnroe hanging out with me on the show today.
I thought the show seemed classier, so yeah.
Wow.
We try to spruce it up here, Kurt, a little bit,
That didn't take long. Shots have been fired, and as we've already established, Kurt's got a daughter going to UCLA, and Patrick went to Stanford. So there's a little pack. There's a little Pac-12. Are they all still even in the Pac-12? I don't know.
No,
I've lost track.
Stanford's in the ACC now, which is bizarre. And
is bizarre.
My daughter's at Duke. She's a first year at Duke. So I'm getting ready, I guess, Duke, UNC, Duke, Stanford. I mean, I guess Stanford in basketball, maybe not quite at that level, but we'll see.
Can she pull off getting you into Cameron Indoor? That's the question.
I might have to
have you
pull
ever
a
been?
card on my friends at ESPN. I actually went a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
ESPN actually, they delivered for me. They got me tickets. So I bet,
It's a good year to go see. It's a good year to go see Duke. I've seen Cooper Flag in person, and he's next coming of a peak Andre Kirilenko, maybe. Like, he's going to be very, very good.
I don't know if he wants to be peak Andre Kirilenko, though. I think you'd like to dream. I was going to say, wouldn't you like to dream a little bigger than Andre Kirilenko, Kurt?
Similar game, though, like a similar two-way, can do a little bit of everything game. So.
All right, fair enough. Last week on the show when we were doing NBA previews, not just with you, but with Sam Yarnell, we might have mentioned it in our conversation with you. He talked about Paolo Banchero as a dark horse pick for MVP. Boy, he's off to a nice start. The 50-piece, the other night in a win against the Pacers. Shocking, the Pacers couldn't defend. But I was impressed with what I saw out of Banchero and the Magic here in the early going.
Look, we knew they were going to be good defensively, right? Like, they were locked down last year. You knew that was all coming back, but he's taken a real step forward on the offensive end again. I mean, entering his third year, you were kind of hoping for this, but he's not the guy you look at initially and think, this is the shot creator I want, because you're thinking that's going to be more of a guard wing kind of guy, but he uses that power game, and now he's got some touch from distance. Like, he is a complete package as a shot creator. When they get another one next to him, watch out for that team. Like, they are. I think you and I did discuss it. They are very much a team on the rise.
Can I ask you? To me, it's hard to fathom that a team winning a championship could still be as hungry as the Celtics are. But you have Jason Tatum, snubbed by the Olympic team as far as playing time. You have Jaylen Brown snubbed altogether, not even on the team. You had all the conversation late last season about, Tatum, is he really an MVP? Can he shoot? Jaylen Brown, all the Stephen A. Smith stuff. And now you turn around, here are the Celtics 4-0, coming off a championship, looking like a team that lost in the finals last year as opposed to a team that won a championship.
Yeah, I think the whole league can thank Steve Kerr just for lighting a fire under these guys this summer, right? Like, they really have come in, and you got to give Joe Mazzulla some credit here. He doesn't. When you're the coach of a team that's expected to win, it's really hard to do things like win the Coach of the Year award. But he might really be in consideration this year if they're pushing 60 games again, coming off a championship, and they don't show that malaise that most championship teams get at some point during the season. If they come in this hot all season long, and obviously there'll be ups and downs, but if they're playing like this all year, and by the way, doing it without their starting center yet, they don't even have Porzingis back yet. They're not at full strength.
Kurt, I want to ask you about the East, because obviously you just mentioned Orlando off to a great start. I want to hear your thoughts about my Knicks and the big trade that they made. They're off to a little bit of a slow start, 1-2. But how about Cleveland? I mean, are you surprised by how well they're playing? They're like Boston, 4-0 already. Who's got the best chance to dethrone the Celtics in the East?
I told Jason last week to watch out for Cleveland, that this was when we were talking that this was a team to keep an eye on, because and he brought it up as well. This is a team that the question was, could they make all the pieces fit together under a new coach and make it fit? And would Evan Mobley take a step forward? And that's really been the biggest key. You watch them against the Knicks, you watch them against other teams. Evan Mobley's taking shots, getting to the rim, being aggressive. I was watching that broadcast, and I watched the Knicks broadcast because it's just, who doesn't want to listen to Frazier, man? Like, every game.
What do you mean, Mike Breen too? Come on.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's fine.
You can get him on ESPN too. But
exactly.
Clyde, nobody's better than Clyde.
No, you got
spinning and winning, baby.
But Clyde was praising him. Like, this is the Mobley we've been waiting for. This is the guy we want to see, and it's very much true. They were very much needing Mobley to become an offensive force, and with that, and with motion in the offense. JB Bickerstaff, for all his strengths, is a little old school on offense. Now they've got this, the guys are moving off the ball's finding new guys, and he's done a really good job. Look, they've got 4 stars. Stagger them. Don't play them all at once, right? Stagger them a lot. He's done a really good job of that. That allows things like Darius Garland last night to go off for 34, 36 and get a win. Those are the kind of things you need, and I really like the way they look. I think they're real.
I got about 40 seconds here. Lonzo Ball, it was great to see him back out on the floor. Wrist injury. Is this going to be a long-term thing?
No, it's just a sprained wrist. He's probably going to miss 2 weeks. Couple of games, but I mean 7 or 8 games. But
even that, you just
feel
feel
the
bad for the
basketball
guy.
gods lighten up on the man a little bit, please. Just come on.
What about Kurt? Before you go, you got to give me a little Knicks, because I thought it was a good move to get Towns, because I think he was the best player in that deal. Yeah. But we lost a couple of guys that went over well here in New York.
Yeah, they're confusing. Their offense is actually weirdly like top 3 in the league right now, but it doesn't look like it. Their half court looks a little clunky. They need time to figure it out, and they've got to defend better while they're figuring it out to get enough wins. I still think, let's talk, Patrick, you and I will talk around Christmas. Get there, and I think you're going to have a much better, I think you're going to know both them and Minnesota. Then we'll have a better sense of who they are.
Kurt, I'm going to hold you over for one more. I want to ask you something. Don't go anywhere. We'll wrap things up in about 10 minutes with odds and ends. And since Patrick's here, that means it'll have something to do with tennis. But right now we're talking NBA. Kurt Helin hanging out on the show. NBC Sports, pro basketball talk at NBCSports.com is his jam. Some thoughts out of the West. And look, I said it on Monday. That LeBron triple-double, and I know he wasn't very good the other night. Maybe it was Monday night. But, boy, that triple-double performance in the win this weekend, I mean, just...
What's amazing is here he is at age 39 doing all this stuff that he probably physically shouldn't be able to do consistently, and the Lakers need him to do it. Like, if you look at their loss... It's the game he has an off shooting night, and he doesn't play that well. They were going to lose to Sacramento until he went off for 16 in the 4th, right? Like, they were down until he's like, all right, I got to take this game over. And it's kind of wild to think that through everything with all the, new coach, who's the JJ Redick's done a really good job so far. He's really improved their offense and their motion and a lot of stuff, putting AD in better spots. Everything's going right. And it still takes, look, they still go as LeBron goes. They still need him to be the tone setter night after night after night. And that is both impressive on his end and concerning if you're a Laker fan, because that's a lot to ask. We're 1 mile into the marathon. He looks great, but let's talk around mile 14.
It seems a little problematic to me that you're relying, and this brings me to my question, Kurt, which is AD. I mean, we know his talent level. We know what he's capable of. But how big time a player is he?
I still think he's capable of rising to those. Are we talking about LeBron?
No, he said AD.
No, AD. I
missed that.
Yeah.
I should. I'm sorry. I have to focus on everything Patrick says more carefully. My bad.
Thank you. My wife has a problem with that too, so don't worry.
Wow.
Davis is capable of it, but I don't think he's a true number one in the sense that he is not the guy who creates the shot most of the time. You still need LeBron, or you still need somebody to be that guy on the perimeter to play to his inside game. Now, if you do that and you get him the ball in better spots, and we've seen that with JJ Redick doing this, like, their offense looks great, and you can run stuff through him in the high post, but you still need that secondary shot creator around him, and LeBron serves that purpose brilliantly right now. But again, this is a team that, as much as I love them, they cannot, there's just no margin for error. They need LeBron and AD for 70 plus games each, or this team's going to struggle.
I know they got a win over Brooklyn in a high scoring affair, but how concerned are you about Denver early on?
Very, very. Look,
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very. Look, everything we were worried about this summer in terms of depth, in terms of lack of shooting, like, when Jokic comes out and says we don't have enough shooting, it's a concern, man. It's a legitimate problem. look, they've got two. They're 2-2, but those 2 wins were overtime against Toronto, overtime against Brooklyn. They're not easing the concerns at all. Those are lottery-bound teams that a championship team should be taking care of. They're not getting it. Jamal Murray's good, not great, and they need him to be great. It's just the whole situation. I'm really concerned. Their depth, their lack of shooting. We talked about it. One of those teams in the West at the top that we thought was going to be so good is going to fall to the 7 seed, 8 seed, and it might be Denver.
Give me some thoughts on Dallas and, the Mavericks obviously coming off the disappointments of losing in a championship series against the Celtics. They're 3-1 out of the gate. You see the Suns at 3-1. We knew the Thunder would be good. The Warriors at 3-1 playing 15 guys every night. What stood out to you here?
Even Sacramento pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Even they were just loaded out there.
Yeah. Give me some thoughts on what you've seen here in the first week and what stood out to you.
Dallas looks great. They do look improved. You and I talked about it. I thought Klay Thompson would make their offense better, and he has. His spacing. But I thought their defense would be worse, and it's actually better with him on the floor right now, and they're getting enough stops. Their rotations, they look just really sharp. And then, Luke, we saw it last night. It was time to put the dagger in the team. So, all right, we'll just give the ball to Luka, and he'll hit a logo shot, and that's it. Like, he's just brilliant. So they've looked great. The rest of the West, there's a lot of teams outside of Oklahoma City who looks like the team to beat. Everybody else is still trying to figure it out a little bit. You're seeing hits and misses here and there. Denver's a little down. The Lakers have looked good, but do we trust them? The Clippers have looked better than expected, but I don't know how much I trust them. You can go on and on down the list out there. Minnesota looks like, I think Minnesota's in the New York boat. After that trade, we're going to have to give them time to figure it out. And if they can find some consistency from Julius Randle, that'd be great. But good luck
with that. Yeah, thank you. Great minds think alike. You see, Jason? That's why you have us both on.
That's exactly why. It's that Pac-12 mind. What can I tell you?
Exactly.
It's that Stanford education. Real quick before I go back to the East, real quick. I only got a minute. The Bucks. We watched them lose to the Celtics the other night. Again, I see your head shaking. I don't even need to finish.
Yeah, they more than Denver.
Is it possible that it just doesn't work?
Yeah, it is. Wow. It is possible that now they don't have Chris Middleton back yet from injury, but even
who knows what he is at this point, though, with all the surgeries he's had and the ankles and all that.
Yeah, and look, Giannis Antetokounmpo has been brilliant. You're getting You're getting good offense again from Lillard, who looks a little more like himself on that end. But they're not getting stops. They have no depth. This team is their concerns and issues are real, and that's going to just wait for the Giannis Antetokounmpo isn't happy, starts looking around rumors to New York coming.
Oh, yes. Sign me up for Giannis. Giannis in the Big Apple.
You got my attention.
Green freak in the Big Apple. Sign me up. Kurt, I'm out of time. I got to go, but always appreciate it, my friend.
Take care.
Odds and ends are next. All right, just about time to put the wraps on this baby for a Wednesday edition of the show. Don't forget, if you miss anything at all, SportsWrap with Jason Page podcast is available. All your favorite podcasting platforms, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, a whole bunch more, Odyssey, Amazon. And starting this weekend, if you know anybody with Fubo, we will be available on Fubo, on the Game Plus channel. Also, half of Canada will have SportsWrap. I don't know which half, but we'll be on in Canada.
Only
so I'm pretty excited. What was that, Patrick?
Only half of Canada? That's not right. Come on. Alberta? Alberta?
No. It's a good chunk. I saw all the cable systems listed. I just don't recognize any of them because it's Canada.
It's just, like they say on Fox on the broadcast about Judge. It's just a matter of time.
Just a matter of time.
You'll be everywhere. Just a matter of time.
Just a matter of time. All right. Without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, time for some odds and ends. Odds and ends. The end for Rafael Nadal and Andy Murray this year, and Nick Kyrgios was talking about, shocking, Patrick McEnroe. Nick Kyrgios has something to say, and it's somewhat controversial. And look, Look, you can say what you want about Nick Kyrgios, and there's plenty that could be said. We could fill a whole segment with it. But I don't think he's necessarily wrong in what he's saying when he talks about sort of the unceremonious way that Andy Murray and Rafael Nadal's careers ended, and that he doesn't want his to end that way.
You know, Nick's actually a pretty smart guy, and I'm glad he's actually at least saying what he's been saying this for a while. He's going to come back and try to win a major, because I think he's capable of doing that, and I think he's crazy not to at least give it a shot. But when it comes to professional athletes, Jason, and we've seen this, I mean, you'll go down the list, right, of all-time greats that we see them, start to fall. But in tennis, in an individual sport, it's particularly challenging, right? Because, you're LeBron James, you're Michael Jordan. You can still be an effective player and not be the dominant superstar that you were for your entire career. LeBron's a great example. He's still playing well for the Lakers. Is he the best player in the league anymore? No, but he's still, a big part of that team. But in tennis, you're on your own, right? So the only guy that I can really think of that went out on top in tennis was Pete Sampras. When he won the U.S. Open, he was starting to fade in 2001, 2002, lost early at Wimbledon that year, and somehow got hot and won the U.S. Open, beating his longtime rival Andre Agassi in the final. And then he kind of saw the writing on the wall, and he said, I'm going to walk away. That rarely happens in tennis. Rafael Nadal obviously is going to play at least one more match for his country in Spain and the Davis Cup final. So hopefully he can go out, with a nice win and help Spain. And I remember when he started, Jason, in Davis Cup as a teenager, I was the captain for the United States team in the final in a soccer stadium in Seville. And they had Ferrero and Moya, who had both won majors, were both at the top of their game. They meaning the Spanish team, and they decided to put this youngster in named Rafael Nadal. We're saying, hey, maybe we got a shot. I mean, they're putting this 18-year-old in. Well, we found out the hard way that wasn't going to happen. So I think what Kyrgios is saying is it's true. I mean, Andy Murray especially, he was playing in the lower levels. He was trying to work his way back to where he could become a factor again in majors. That never happened. I mean, he was able to win some matches. He won a small tournament in Europe. He got into the top 50, but man, he had to grind it out. And he had the hip surgery, serious hip surgery. Nadal never really went that route, and that's smart. And I think the reason why he is retiring, Jason, is because he realizes that he just can't do it anymore at that level. He could probably still play, Nadal, and win a round or two at a couple of big tournaments, but he doesn't want to do that. No, Roger Federer didn't want to do that. Serena Williams, even late in her career, didn't want to do that. So I think that Kyrgios is right, but I think that Andy Murray did what he wanted to do. He wanted to go back and play competitively. He didn't want to walk away the way he did, where he was just limping off the court, which has happened to Nadal many times. But I'm glad that Nick has always been outspoken. He's worked with us a bit at ESPN.
Yeah.
And I would like to see him, put up or shut up and try to get out of the court for at least another year or two.
Yeah. I question, though, whether with the crop of great young talent, and we only have a second here, because I want to get a quick thing on the Yankees and Dodgers for Game 5. I question what you think he could actually win a major. You think he can win a slam?
I think he could win Wimbledon.
Okay.
He got to the final a couple of years ago, but he'd have to do a lot of things that he hasn't done, which is train his ass off, be mentally solid. He had a great year that year he got Wimbledon. He was actually the most consistent he'd been in his career. Does he have the game to win a major? Absolutely.
Okay.
Does he have the heart and the mind? That's a major question.
Okay. Yeah, heart and mind is definitely a big question. Dodgers, Yankees. The odds for tonight's game, the Yankees are minus 142 in wagering parlance. That means you'd have to wager $142 for the Yankees to win 100. The Dodgers underdogs at plus 120, meaning you wager $100 on them and you win 120. Real quick before we go, who wins?
Yankees win tonight. This is the first game, I believe, Jason, that the Yankees are the favorite, right?
No. Believe it or not, they've been the favorite.
Yeah,
they were favored in 3, 4, and 5. Yep.
3, 4, and 5 at home. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see how it is tonight.
I'm picking Yankees tonight, but trust me, I'm nervous.
It's going to wrap it up for us. This was fun, Patrick. Always appreciate it, my friend. We will have you back on anytime you want. Quick, final word.
Say a prayer for me, Jason. I'm going to the Jet game, MetLife Stadium against Houston Thursday night. Say a prayer for me. I need it.
That does it for us. We'll see you tomorrow.